Like, you know how Cory Booker speaks like he's in a Shakespeare play and it's cringy as fuck?
Uh-huh.
Paul Wellstone kind of did that, but it was epic.
But it was, like, genuine.
Yeah.
Like, that was his channeling of...
Yeah.
Yeah, you've seen me give a speech a few times, and I turn into fucking Lenin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I'm up there, I do the finger and shit, and I'm like, and I get in people's face, and
yeah.
And it was wild, dude. I remember when I gave that speech in the surf district for Bernie to bring him on stage, and...
yeah, that was a radical speech.
Yeah, it was a radical speech.
Maybe that's why you never got called back.
It probably is. It probably is, because they're trying to play a little bit nice, and everyone gave, like, you know, kind of a classic speech. And I went up, and they're like, they're sending our children to die in wars.
Yeah.
Enough is enough, and all this. But dude, it like shook the crowd a little bit. And I remember the crowning achievement. You know when like a black guy like shows you love as a white person, and you're just like, it's the best thing that's ever happened to you.
Yeah.
And I was sitting at the bar, and I was kind of shook up because I got in the moment, and I was like, I see you over there. And I was like, yeah. And that's why I tell people I'm down with the black community. So, you know. All right, let's do I'm going to try to do a sexy voice today. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 26 of the Entitled Millennials podcast. This is Double D, your host, and John Boy Wild, my co-host, here today with us. And we have Roman Gonzalez in the house running the computer as usual.
Yes, sir.
Good to have you. Good to have you, Roman. Roman is a Latino looking for beautiful white women to make love to. Desperate. And he's a great lover. I've read his Yelp reviews, and yeah, we're happy to have you with us, you sexy man. All right. Anyway, guys, this is Entitled Millennials, episode number 26. Like I said, got John Boy here, got Roman here. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, like it, bang the bell. We're about to hit 500 subscribers, so if you haven't already, like I said, hit subscribe and share us out to your friends. I think we could maybe hit 500 in a day or two. So if you want to further support the podcast, subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/double_D. There you can access all of my written works, including poetry, flash fiction, and full-length short stories. Once we reach our $200 goal, we'll be doing a bonus podcast every week for you guys, so help us get there. Appreciate it. To further support the podcast, check out our sponsor, Bingley's Teas, at janeaustenteas.com. There you can find high-end teas handpicked and mixed by the lovely Miss Julia. Or visit Julia in person at 118 East 26th Street, suite number 208, to satisfy that deep tea addiction and to be taken on a tea tour of the world. All right, guys, let's jump in. I know you said you didn't know a lot about this, Johnny. But I had a conversation with actually...
Yeah, I've read it before, but...
I had a conversation with our sponsor, Julia, and about this whole thing, because she messaged me on Facebook Messenger, did you see the debate and all this smear stuff that they were swinging at Bernie, and I thought maybe we'd touch on it, because they tried to do this in 2016 too, and I'm kind of surprised they're throwing it at him again. But pretty much, I think it was Bloomberg went on the attack for Bernie's college writings back in like the 1970s. Mm-hmm. And it's...
I don't even think it was the 70s. I think it would be the 60s, wouldn't it?
I think it was either the 60s or the 70s. What I saw was 72. But, I mean, first off, before I jump into...
Are you sure these are college writings or not after college?
Well, whatever. Right around the era of when he was a young man, either in college or freshly out of college, right? And they were academic writing, like short fiction stuff, sort of like what I do, where you try to get across, in the context of a short story, try to get across certain social or economic ideas, right?
Yeah.
And like I said before, I jump into kind of what they were about and how they're trying to spin it. I just want to say that it's obvious they are hurting badly, trying to find some kind of dirt on Bernie Sanders.
I just laugh at this point. It's like every week it's something new.
Yeah.
One week it's the Russia shit. The next it's the Cuba shit.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit too.
Not surprised about the essay thing. And like it was predicted like 2 months ago that they were going to start the communist shit. that was going to be the goal. Because,
that he's a communist sympathizer, if not an outright communist himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these writings, and I think it is important to talk about this because Julia is like a really intelligent woman and definitely capable of critical thought. And I think she didn't necessarily buy into them, but she had questions about it, right? And if somebody as smart as her and free thinking as her is kind of like shook up by it, I think maybe it is worth discussing. So one of the college essays that he wrote was, like I said, a piece of short fiction that talks about rape fantasies. And I wish I would have wrote the quotes down, but there's stuff in the short piece where it's like, you know, a man comes home and makes love to his wife. Meanwhile, he's fantasizing about like raping this and that, and then something about women that are making love to their husbands also fantasize about getting gang raped by like 3 or 4 people, right?
Yeah.
And you know, you take these quotes from his stories out of context, and I've actually read the stories, and they're good in it, and it's like, meanwhile, he's trying to get across points about gender roles and like the status quo, like perception of like what a man and a woman should be, and how toxic and repressed marriages can be in what was at the time modern marriage. Yeah, a while ago. But then I went back and looked at like an NPR thing that kind of like broke down some of it. So that's like what he was trying to get across in this stuff. And you know, given that the average American is like incapable of even distinguishing communism from socialism, I'm not surprised.
Dude, all you have to do, I've realized, is just slap a label on someone and you will find a lot of people start repeating the label slapped on them.
Exactly, man.
Another thing they're saying on the media, while this is on my mind, and new criticism, and they all push it out at once, dude. That's what's funny. Like, they're
as if they're not interconnected.
They need, and also I think they need to hire better propagandists. I feel like the people in charge of figuring out the propaganda are like elitists themselves and don't really relate to the common man.
Yeah.
They need to hire like us to do propaganda. Like I'd be thinking of some clever fucking shit to trick the masses.
Now watch you say this, and there's somebody who does work in that department that's
hire me, you know, I would probably $50,000 a year. I think I could push out some propaganda.
And then so like a week from now when we do one last video and we're like we're going a different route.
No, but they're saying that Bernie's gonna hurt down ballot races, like Senate races.
What's that?
Down ballot races.
What's
like
that mean?
Senate races, Congress.
Okay.
But what doesn't make sense to me
what
is
you're saying.
If you're planning to turn out and go vote for Bernie, the down ballot races are at the same time.
Yeah.
Why aren't you gonna vote
progressive?
Yeah, you're going to vote for probably the Democratic senator and congressional candidates too.
And they're trying to say because of all this and shit that it's going to hurt.
Say it is Republicans voting for Bernie, which is their big goal. They want to win over moderate Republicans, and say they vote Bernie and they don't, and they vote Republican down ballot. They were going to do that anyways.
Yeah.
I don't really understand how it hurts down ballot races. If anything, Bernie's going to bring more people in to vote down ballot than a neoliberal candidate would.
Are you saying that these smear tactics
They're saying Bernie's
are hurting, or just Bernie in general?
Bernie may win the presidency is their new thing.
Yes.
But because he wins the presidency, they're going to lose the Senate and the House.
That doesn't even make any...
I mean, it's possible, but that's going to happen with any Democrat maybe.
Yeah, but that's such a stretch of the imagination, dude. Like, to get to that point, like, him specifically is going to damage that
And it's
movement.
funny, like, you notice Pete Buttigieg push that narrative out, Biden campaign pushes it out, and then the media all at once push it out. It's almost like a think tank thought about it and was like...
Yeah. Well, and like you said, these people just don't understand. Well, here's the thing. The stuff that they use as smear tactics and propaganda is, or has been tried and true for decades. Mm-hmm. And I think what it is they're failing to understand that they're living in a new era where this sort of shit still does work to a degree, but it's not enough.
It's already working on the people it's working on. They're not going to change people's minds who already realize their propaganda.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
And they're hoping to, but it's like, meanwhile, you know what? That's an interesting... If you were going to try to start a fucking propaganda campaign to get people like you and I, or, you know, Bernie supporters to turn against him, just off the fly of your handle, if you had to pitch me an idea, what would your idea be?
I would start covering him very positively in the corporate media and get a lot of the scumbag elites who the people hate to start praising him.
Oh.
Start making it seem like Bernie is the establishment pick. and then really hype up how Trump's anti-establishment.
We're gonna have to edit that out because that's too good, dude. And we can't have anybody coming. We can't have anybody
like
thinking of that.
You want people to think Bernie's part of the shit.
Yeah. I haven't. Yeah. Okay. We'll definitely have to fucking edit that out because that's fucked up. Well, you know, that just reminds me of all the times when you and I have talked about like these dystopian future novels, like A Brave New World or 1984 or fucking Handmaid's Tale. Johnny, you've said this before and kind of put it in my head where it's like it's almost like these motherfuckers read these books back in college and they're like, this is a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, we're like you said, man. Somebody gets a hold of this, and then, dude, how would you feel if like we released this 2 weeks later? That's what they start doing.
I'd be like, damn, we're getting watched by some high-powered people.
That'd be kind of scary in a way.
I mean, I don't know, man. I just don't know what they're trying to do because their shit doesn't work. Every time they try it, it like backfires.
I think the one that you just came up with, man, that's a fucking
because it's hard to make it work against someone like Bernie who's like honest and has convictions. It's easy to do with someone like Warren who flip flops all the fucking time. Because then she gets caught in a flip flop and it ruins her. Whereas Bernie just stays true to his shit usually. Oh, and one last thing about them trying to stop Bernie and then propaganda and shit. I just read an article right before this. They want Michelle Obama to like run as a VP to stop Bernie. And again, I laugh at it.
Under who?
Probably Biden is what I'm thinking.
Sure.
But you know what I laugh about it? It's literally only going to work on the same people all their other shit's working on.
Yeah.
They're not like, and they think. I think what they fail to grasp is like the Bernie supporters aren't with him for his like personality like a lot of supporters are with other people.
Yeah.
They're with him because of the movement and his message and his policy goals.
Yeah, if it wasn't
they can't
him,
wrap their heads around that.
If it wasn't him, it would be somebody else.
Yeah.
That we would support.
And what's going on right now with like the Bernie Sanders campaign and the movement behind it will live long after Bernie is done, whether he gets the presidency or not. It's the same movement of Occupy Wall Street.
Yes. It's in that same vein.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. And that's the thing. I did that solo video, my Thinking Out Loud series, The Revolution Must Go On, and that's kind of what I talk about a little bit, or rather I advocate for, like, no matter what happens with Bernie, we got to keep this torch going. And I really feel like, dude, I see comments on our Facebook page when we share certain things. People are, and not in a violent way, but they're like, I'm ready to get in the streets if they try to fuck us. Like, I will not show up at my, like, people are, things are building. And if we're at the point now where they haven't even stole it, and it still feels like maybe they won't even be able to, and people are already talking this way, what happens when this sort of idea is going to build and build and build?
Well, I just read another article. Might as well talk about this while we're on this subject. Only 9 of the, I think it was 90-something superdelegates are saying that if Bernie has the plurality, he should become the nominee. So
only 9 out of 90?
Something like that. It was so they're essentially saying we're going to fucking rig it against Bernie. And then Warren was interviewed the other night, and she's still hammered down that she's for superdelegates having to say.
Yeah.
It's just, you're and then some guy was just on MSNBC or CNN in South Carolina saying how the people don't really decide the election.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just are open about their shit.
It's like true, though. It's true, though.
They because like don't process that. They just think it's fine that party elites get to choose candidates. They like think it's fine. They really truly do, I believe. They don't see the fucked upness of it.
Oh no, well dude, because that takes an extra ounce of critical thought. And like, yeah, Roman, I don't know if you knew this, but like how the super delegates work. So how the primary and caucus system is supposed to work is we vote, percentage of the votes get you an amount of delegates that go to the national convention, then everyone's in a big arena and then casts their final votes for whoever, right?
Yeah, right.
The super delegates are like, if somebody in the first round doesn't get 51% of the total delegates, then it goes to the second round of voting. And in that second round of voting, there's how many? Is it?
Dude, I can't
Isn't there like 500?
I thought there was something like that. I think it's different this year.
Okay, well,
I think they took some away too. I can't.
There's quite a few of these super delegates which are not elected in the normal sense. They're appointed by people within the Democratic
they're corporate
Party.
Lobbyists and party elites.
Yeah.
And dude, I just saw a graphic from 2016 that reminded me how they were reporting it then. Bernie would like win a state, but then they would count the super delegates, and it would look like, dude, Hillary had
like he was losing everything.
They said Hillary Clinton had a 400 something delegate lead like instantly, so it looked insurmountable.
Yeah.
It's fucking bullshit. And it's like, if you're really in favor of them choosing, why do we even have the primaries? Why don't you just have the party elites choose right away? Quit wasting the money on the, like, what's the point?
Yeah.
The whole point should be,
well,
we run, and the person who gets the most votes at the end becomes the nominee.
Yeah.
Shouldn't that be the point?
I mean, duh. But the reason why, from the perspective of the elites and oligarchs and corporations, the reason why they keep this veneer of democracy is because it will placate enough people to stop anyone from becoming completely radical and realizing that we no longer live in a democracy. It's the same reason why in ancient Rome the emperors kept the Senate for a long period of time.
See, the big thing to me is it's like, it was a little, like in 2016 it was fucked up, but Clinton did get 4 million more votes, right? So it's harder.
Yes.
And how'd she get those? In a lot of fucked up ways. Like, if shit would have been done fairly, would she have gotten 4 million more votes? I do not think so at all. However,
probably not.
However, how can
she may have still have won?
At least I see why the superdelegates would go to her, right?
Yes.
You know, but now if Bernie has the majority and you screw him, it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, it's not
People are going to get pissed in a way they were not last time.
Yeah,
and we were already pissed last time.
Yeah.
But it's going to go beyond just the Bernie Sanders supporters. Like, people with any common sense are going to be like, even some of the party, like the people who
loyalists.
are in charge. Yeah, but what are they called? The
bureaucrats.
No, the people who fucking help. They tell you how to run a campaign. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Consultants.
Okay.
Even they are going to be nervous about it because it's going to destroy the party for years to come.
Yeah.
And they're going to be out of a job consulting for the party.
Dude, if they do this and we don't manage to circumnavigate it and come out with Bernie actually winning the nomination, I don't see Democrats winning elections for another 10 years. If I'm honest,
even
man.
Then, like, I just want the party to die if they screw Bernie.
Well, I mean, so do I. To be 100% honest,
rebuild it after they did it. I want a new party formed.
But I'm just saying, like, that's probably the reality of it, because the millions of people that come out, you know, like you and me, I'm not coming out for. I won't vote, dude, because I really don't believe it makes any difference. The only reason I'm out voting for this and that and these other candidates, and sometimes I'll even kind of throw a bone to people like J.D. Scholten, I do that with them because I feel like if we have a Bernie presidency and progressives and all the other levels of government, some of these guys that I think have a good heart like J.D. Scholten but still kind of buy into the bullshit will get pushed in the right direction. But if they fuck all of us, and it comes out to just be complete and utter bullshit, you're not getting me to turn out for corporatists, bro. And that's the same for millions of other Americans.
And I don't think that it's not even necessarily that JD buys into the bullshit, I think. I just think he doesn't have the guts to stand up to power like he should, in my opinion. And it's hard to do. Okay. It's not easy to do, but I think I think that's what I'm trying to say. He's going to get pushed around, but it would, like you said, it would be good if it was progressives leading because he would fall in line with progressives easily. I think,
and it's just like,
not to talk shit about James.
No, he's a good guy, dude.
20 times better than Steve King, but.
Yeah, and dude, that's the thing. You know that old saying, "A bad apple ruins the bunch." Well, the reverse is true. Where, I mean, just like with anything in life, and this is a message outside of politics, you are who you hang around with. You know. And that's why, you know, like, for instance, with my sobriety, when I decided I stopped hanging out with people that I dearly love, and nothing wrong with them and their lives are fine, but it's like because, you know, I needed to do something different. Yeah. And it goes into the politics where if there's a culture built in the government of progressivism and actually caring about the working class, those who would normally just have to kind of fall in line despite what they believe or want to do would potentially blossom into actual progressives, and it would solidify in them the realization of what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah, because I think in his heart, just to talk on JD for a moment, because I've thought about this deeply, I do think in his heart he's a progressive, but
yeah, he's a genuine guy when you speak with him, man. It's a vibe that I get.
Yeah,
but it's what you said.
He's gone and raised money in New York and Manhattan and shit. Looks bad to people here in Iowa.
Yeah,
they don't like that type of shit.
Yeah,
and then kind of slap in the face to have Bernie Sanders come and campaign for you here in 2018, and then you go and campaign with Pete Buttigieg.
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't know. It pisses me off, but
I just wish we could sit down with him and talk to him like level-headedly. Like, why did you do that, man? Well, like, dude, what was your thought process? It's the people, because I know he's not a bad dude, man.
It's the fucking Democratic Party consultants and shit.
This is how it's done. It's okay.
Yeah, dude, they always fuck up good candidates. That's why do you hire these people?
Yeah.
Like, I just don't get it.
Well, because they got it, just like some of the issues we had with the campaign in Iowa, the Bernie campaign in Iowa, it's they got a college degree, they've got the quote-unquote qualifications, blah, 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 paper, stamped, sealed.
A couple successful things.
Yeah.
That had nothing to do with their shitty-ass opinions.
And that's the thing, man. And this branches out to so many different things in our lives, in our cultures, in our workplaces, political or not, is resume does not equal meritocracy. Resume is part of meritocracy, but it's not, you know what I mean? That's kind of it's one of that culture, the resume culture, and the fucking ding, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, D on your resume culture is like, ends up hindering what America's supposed to be in terms of meritocracy.
I just want to know who Elizabeth Warren hired to tell her that she needs to talk about being a woman every time she speaks now.
Yeah.
You know what? She did hire a bunch. It's just a bunch of bullshit, dude. And you can tell she literally, because it's a fact, she hired a bunch of Kamala Harris staffers in high up positions that once Kamala dropped out. Mm-hmm. Who are they? A lot of them were Hillary 2016 people and stuff like that. And dude, everyone knows you're a fucking woman. Hillary did the same thing. Kamala did it.
Yeah, I see
Amy Klobuchar does it. Like, at least when Warren does it, I can kind of tolerate it. Klobuchar's cringy. Dude, they like feel like they have to. It's like they're told they have to bring up the fact they're a woman every fucking 10 minutes.
We know it.
We need a woman in the White House.
I see the pantsuit that you're wearing. I can understand that.
Dude, and it's just like no one. I don't know. I just want to go on such a rant, but it's like so stupid.
It is
to vote based on gender.
And you know what? This is a kind of a thought. Let me see if I can articulate that. It's stupid. And at the same time, it's also very sad.
Yeah.
And it's sad in that you have to keep throwing that fucking woman pitch. We shouldn't live in a society where you should have to do that. And this is me getting like maybe a little feminist and I guess SJW.
What?
But really I'm not trying to do that. I'm just saying like what the fuck? Like if we are really talking about equality and this and that, and I firmly believe, dude, in all honesty, in a lot of ways, I think the right woman could be a bit better president than any man because they come from a space of motherly love and shit, right? And to me, it's just sad and counterproductive towards the culture that we are trying to create when you come out and you just have to keep pitching that as a woman thing. We should get to a point where it doesn't matter.
I think we're ready I think a woman could easily won in 2016. I think Warren probably could have won had she had the guts to run against Hillary Clinton.
Yes.
She lacked courage, and she consistently falls in line with the party establishment when it's an anti-establishment era, and she's smart enough to know that.
Yeah, I just don't. It's like we've said, and we've said this on other podcasts. There's people in her ear. Well, telling her, one, she's great and stroking her ego, and then two, after they've done that and buttered her up, saying you need to do it this way.
And I just don't think she can fathom that, because a lot of the big main Bernie supporters now, like the big names, like the blue check marks on Twitter.
Yes.
Like higher up people,
yes. The blue check marks, I love that.
But they're with Bernie now, and she can't fathom that because in 2015, before he announced, they were trying to get her to run, these same people, and they were all behind her.
Yeah.
And she expected them to all get with her this time.
Yeah.
She can't fathom that. A lot of people lost respect for her because she didn't run.
Yeah.
Bernie has earned the hearts and respect of people.
Exactly.
Because he had the courage of what he did.
If she would have gone Stonewall Jackson and stood by her guns in that period, in the period in between, and not just gradually rescinded into fucking centrism, these people, some of them at least, would have came out and supported her. And dude, honestly, before we get into the next thing, I just want to talk about how, just sitting here in this moment, how fucking sad it is that it turned out this way with Warren. Because I had my reservations about her, but I was so hopeful that she would build this coalition, and she just really stabbed the progressive movement in the back.
It's obvious, at first, she thought she was going to get a lot of the progressive vote, and that was her goal. But then she realized it was, all with Bernie, pretty much. And it's obvious she made the game plan to try to win the establishment people that are now going to Pete.
Yeah.
In Biden, even.
Yeah.
And it's dude... They consider you part of the Bernie wing, so some of them went to you, yes.
She's in this weird catch-22 middle ground.
A few of the I want a woman president went to her, but a lot went to Amy Klobuchar.
Which is just odd. Dude, I just don't get the appeal of her, dude, and that's just so wild to me, man.
Well, she's just
compared to Warren,
fake nice. Her jokes are just cringy and terrible. And if you can just tell she's as mean as they say behind the scenes.
Yeah, dude. And she is like the Karen of the political scene, dude. And it's funny because it's funny that she's from a senator from Minnesota, correct?
Yeah.
It's funny to me because she is so Midwestern suburban mom.
Also, I want to get pissed. I don't know how well she might have known Paul Wellstone. I feel like it wasn't very well.
Okay, but she's tried to paint it.
But she touts his fucking name calls him a great friend and acts like he would have she's with him. She's nothing like Paul Wellstone. Paul Wellstone would have been with Bernie.
Yes. He would have been with Bernie. Man.
I think Paul Wellstone would have been a presidential candidate and probably a president.
Yeah.
That's depending why his plane crashed when he was leading the anti-Iraq war movement, and when his seat decided that the Republicans had control of the Senate or not.
A little bit spooky.
Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah.
One of the greatest senators in modern history. Most people don't even remember who he is now.
It's sad.
It is. It's fucked up.
I love that speech. I can't remember all the words, but it's like, if affordable healthcare means I'm a liberal, then I'm a liberal. The way that he goes on, and it's just like, I love it, man.
He's like, if to call for a new world in the making and end the military budget and invest that money in people makes me a liberal,
then I'm a liberal.
And the crowd's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, I get pumped up. I remember you showed me because I didn't really know who he was either.
Because that's how the way he spoke, it was like he was, how Cory Booker speaks like he's in a Shakespeare play and it's cringy as fuck?
Uh-huh.
Paul Wellstone kind of did that, but it was epic.
But it was like genuine.
Yeah.
Like that was his channeling of.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've seen me give a speech a few times, and I turn into fucking Lenin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm up there,
speaking.
I do the finger and shit, and I'm like, and I get in people's face, and
yeah.
And it was wild, dude. I remember when I gave that speech in the surf district for Bernie to bring him on stage, and
that was a radical speech.
Yeah, it was a radical speech.
Maybe that's why you never got called back.
It probably is. It probably is because they're trying to play a little bit nice, and everyone gave kind of a classic speech. And I went up, and they're like, they're sending our children to die in wars. Yeah. Enough is enough, and all this. But, dude, it, shook the crowd a little bit. And I remember the crowning achievement, when, a black guy, shows you love as a white person, and you're just like, it's the best thing that's ever happened to you. Yeah. And I was sitting at the bar, and I was kind of shook up because I got in the moment. And I was like, I see you over there. And I was like, yeah. And that's why I tell people I'm down with the black community. So, but I got really off topic there, but that went great. But I do want to come back to the whole thing with the Bernie smear tactics because it relates to me a little bit. And we talked about this, Johnny. They tried smearing Bernie for his creative and academic writings in college, touching on subjects that are admittedly sensitive and dark.
Yeah.
Dude. The fact that he wrote those things shows how much of an intelligent and thinking person he is. And it's like, dude, the best authors and writers in all time had those heavy-hitting pieces like that. And it's funny, they're trying to shit on him and call him a sexist and dark and having all these dark fantasies and shit. It's like, meanwhile, Margaret Atwood, who wrote perhaps the greatest, quote-unquote, feminist novel in modern history, The Handmaid's Tale, she had an essay similar to, in the similar vein of what Bernie wrote. You know what it was called?
What?
Rape Fantasies.
Well,
that was the title of Margaret Atwood's essay.
And it's like you say, they only put out those couple of sentences out of the whole thing that look weird as fuck.
Yeah.
And then they don't tell you what the entire thing was about.
And what the point of it is getting at. And that's what he did.
I don't think that's the least that's going to matter.
Yeah, but I just want to talk about it because it relates to me because, I'm always pitching the Patreon to you guys. Mm-hmm. The podcasting is my passion. Politics activism is my passion.
I have warned you about your deviant stories, man.
But here's the thing, is all of this stuff is second to me. First and foremost, I'm a writer who believes in freedom of speech and artistic expression. And you know what? If I ever decide to run for office one day, I don't really feel that's my destiny. I feel like I could be a political communicator and stuff. That's also what I do in my writing is stuff like this that's dark and twisted and fucked up, but it's from the point of view of the characters in the book, and I'm trying to get or the novelette or the short story that I'm trying to get across.
Yeah.
Like, I have this one short story called The Locker Room, and it's all from the point of view of like a high school age delinquent. And he's extremely misogynistic and just like sex obsessed crazy teenager. And not only that, he's racist because he's growing up in this Rust Belt community.
Yeah.
And the whole even the title of it is called The Locker Room. And you know how the whole thing with Donald Trump and locker room talk, that was one of my inspirations for writing it, is like, this is a caricature of that culture. You know what I mean? But if somebody were to read it, they'd be like, you know, Dylan Daniels said all this stuff and he's clearly a racist and misogynist. It's like, no, the character is. And I'm doing a deep dive from the perspective of that character and how that person thinks. Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to, that's one of the main reasons why.
Clarification, I think. Cause
yeah. And so we can, when they try to take down if I do a political career in the future, we'll just pull this up. But it's just sad to me, man. And it's also part of that woke culture and cancel culture that we've talked about 100 times, man. Anyway, we can jump into the next thing here. We've been sending a lot of articles back and forth in this news cycle, and one of the things that got a lot of feedback on our Entitled Millennials Facebook page, make sure you follow us, is Bernie, I'd rather lose than let Bloomberg spend money on me. Can you give me a little bit of clarification on that? So
Bloomberg said he's going to give $1 billion to whoever the Democratic nominee is, even Bernie. So that was Bernie's campaign's response.
$1 billion for what? Just for whatever?
I don't know. Yeah, to fucking beat Trump. I don't know. I don't know where all the money goes.
I guess that's okay.
And Bernie and Jeff Weaver is not his campaign manager, was his campaign manager in 2016. Now he's just
advisor.
Yeah,
most likely.
Advisor.
Seems like he's still in the scene a little bit.
He is. But
great campaign guy.
He said that they can raise over $1 billion with just small. They think they can raise over $1 billion with just small individual donations. And I watched these 3 corporate talking heads on the media. I can't remember what channel. It's all the same, so I don't know why I always specify.
Yeah, who cares?
Unless it's Fox.
It's
and
the same
they're
machine.
A little more right wing.
They're different, yeah.
They're more blatant with their shit. Their people eat it up.
Yeah.
But they were like, he'll take the money. He's just saying that to win. It'd be crazy to not take the money. And it's like they don't understand what having convictions are.
Yeah, they don't.
It would ruin his image if he took that money.
Yeah, and Bernie genuinely doesn't fucking want that money.
No, and it helps his chances to reject the money.
Yeah.
That's why we got a lot of likes compared to most of our shit. People want that. They want to see that.
Dude, that post really took off. Every single thing that I shared it out. Okay, on our page alone, I got 40 reactions, which I know compared to some of these other pages isn't much, but
it's nothing in the grand scheme.
But on our 600 followers, that's a lot, right? Yeah. And every other thing that I think one of them got like 100 reacts. People really ate that up. And I just want to say to you too, thank you for doing such a good job on the social media. Like, when the things that you add to the articles make a difference, and I think get people to actually read it and inform themselves more. So I appreciate that. But sorry, I shouldn't have complimented you because it threw off the vibe.
No, you're good.
But if Bloomberg, don't you hate that when someone gives you a compliment?
Okay. Oh no, I know what I was gonna say. The reason why people love that is why they loved it when Donald Trump said he was gonna fund his own campaign.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, Bloomberg's doing it too, but Bloomberg's a smarmy elitist prick, so people don't love it. I don't know. I do think people should give Trump a little more credit for how skilled he is with his shit. Like, he's very skillful at winning people over.
Well, yeah, because it's such a different way of doing it. It's such a balancing act that he plays.
And something about repeating certain words when he's like, "It's tremendous, trust me, tremendous." Like, there's something to that it does something to your brain.
Yeah.
Like, you hear it and you're like, yeah, it's tremendous. Like, I see why dumb people love it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, especially if you are just super plugged in and, you know, your wife is also your sister type of thing. Yeah. Like, you're going to be like...
I actually don't want to bash just Trump supporters, though, because, they got their lives, they know they're getting screwed, and they hear Trump shit, and they're like, yeah. And they don't look into it. When you look into it, you kind of more realize... I don't know, man. I hate just bashing Trump supporters because a lot of them understand.
Okay, Johnny, it was just a joke, bro.
No, but it's like... I just gotta say, man, it's the establishment Democratic people that don't understand the real bullshit going on. At least the Trump supporters kind of do. And then somehow they make believe Trump's fighting all the bullshit.
They just get duped. And
I despise both entities. I don't know.
And it helps that Donald Trump has been in our culture for so long. You know, like that's a layer to it that we don't even like necessarily touch on as much. Like he's been in people's living rooms for how long?
Yeah.
So they already have this.
Too damn long.
Yeah. Like for real though, and so there's this like cultural relevance that he has in this character that he's built over a long period of time that people identify with.
Yeah.
Even though it's BS, but still, if let's say in a hypothetical world, Bernie does take that money. You know what I would love to see is if he took that money, because it is a lot of money, and then used it for to end the homelessness. He's like, I'm going to take Bloomberg's money, but I'm going to build houses for as many people in LA as I possibly can.
Yeah.
That'd be epic.
I just don't.
But obviously that's not going to happen.
I don't know.
But to me, it's like, I do see it like that much money, even if it comes from a scumbag billionaire, like in that position, I would just be like, that's so much money, I could solve so much shit. And obviously not, but like you said,
Yeah, I mean, it would be, if he did turn it down though, it's just it would gain respect from him.
Yeah, no, it's more important that he turns it down, but it's just like speaking in that hypothetical sense. So, but yeah, so I mean, covered the whole smear thing. Obviously, we talked. Well, I guess we didn't even really talk about Cuba, but I'm sure you guys already kind of know the whole thing with that.
That's another smear. I mean,
trying to talk about how he fucking supports Cuba.
Because God forbid you have a nuanced opinion about major global world historical leaders.
And not just
how come with Saudi Arabia, Trump and Obama and Bush, they gargle Saudi Arabia's balls and praise them and don't see anything negative about them. But when it comes to Castro, he was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But no one talks about how Batista, the dictator before, was a big piece of
because the
shit.
Saudis are good capitalists.
Yeah, it's just stupid. People cannot have any nuance.
I know. Well, yeah, and that's the thing. I think this is worth touching on, and I know our listeners probably already agree with this. The things that came out of the Cuban Revolution were terrible and incredibly sad, and a lot of people died that maybe didn't necessarily have to happen. But you know what? When violent revolutions happen, and I wish maybe it would have gone a different way with Cuba, where it didn't end up becoming a dictatorship by Fidel, but would have been an actual dictatorship of the proletariat.
You got to remember there is USSR influence.
It wasn't just, and the USSR wants a strong, you know what I mean? It's empire building in another way.
Influence.
So in that sense, that's another side other than just the pure human loss that's sad, because it could have been something more. But look, Fidel and that movement with Che Guevara and stuff liberated those people from the yoke of American imperialism. Mm-hmm. And you know what? That country would have been turned into an absolute, dare I say, shithole if we would have continued to allow Batista and U.S. foreign fucking development there, man. It would have lost all of its culture, and the people would have just been
and there is something to praise how they have the same lifespan as U.S. citizens because they have great health care.
Yes.
There is some shit to say to that. And Bernie also praised how the Cuban people and how they're loyal to Cuba and shit. And I don't see any. He's just able to see the reality of things, the big picture of things, and not just this black and white evil empire. You know what I mean?
Dude, think about how wild it is that this little island nation in the middle. Because let's be honest, the entire Western Hemisphere, all the way out through the Pacific, just bordering on Japan, is that whole half of the planet. Is the American empire, right?
Yeah.
And here, in the middle of it, literally the Caribbean's the middle of the American empire, right? Is this little island nation that managed to overthrow a U.S. government-backed thing and remain free. Think about that. That's insanely inspiring, whether or not you agree with the politics of it or not.
Do you have your speaker here?
No, it's out in the car.
Damn. Oh,
shit.
I was going to play that one guy, remember I showed you who was on MSNBC, who said we need to get out of the gulag thinking, and this may be a new dawn.
Yeah, go ahead and pull it up, because I can still play it. I'll just keep it by the speaker.
All right. I got to find it. I can't.
But while you're digging it up, I was going to talk a little bit about, while we're on the debates and they're a complete shit show. Actually, I guess I don't. This wasn't even from the debates, but Biden went on. He had some speech or something where he was talking about gun violence, and we've talked about Biden just the man's losing it.
Yeah,
and he talked about gun violence in America, which obviously is a huge issue. But he talked about 150 million Americans since 2007 have been killed by gun violence. That was his quote. That's half the United States population. Literally. 150 million people. That's like World War fucking II, dude. And dude, I just can't. It just blows my mind because imagine that many people just. I mean, this would be a collapsed state. And obviously, it was probably just a fuck up faux pas on words. Yeah. But I mean, dude, he just has more fuck ups, dude. Like this one that he had recently, where he gave another speech and he was saying that he's running for the U.S. Senate, but he said it very matter of fact. It's like, dude, where are you at, bro? Where are you at?
And lets him say this shit.
they fucking probably go over it with them, but he's just fucked up. He's just not there, bro. And then he had all this stuff come out about where he lied, and the campaign came out and said that he lied about apartheid, that he was somehow involved in the movement against apartheid in South Africa. The campaign had to come out.
Said he got arrested trying to meet Nelson Mandela, dude. Not just
Yeah.
And it's just a lie. And I listened to the speech, dude. Yeah, the way he lies too, it's like he's lying about everything.
Yeah.
And I'm sure in the 80s it worked really well when no cameras were really around. And,
you could
and the media was with you still in the 80s.
Yeah.
They were still part of bullshit. Not as much as now, but they were still.
Yeah, they're not going to fact check you. And they don't have as easy
I'm sure
a way to fact check.
It was easy to go to some rural Iowa room
and tell people that.
Say all this shit and then go say a different story. But now it's. And he still got caught then. He's a known liar, dude.
Yeah.
He's made shit up his entire political career.
Yeah.
And
I just imagine him literally being a chronic, psychological liar where he gets on the stage and that's his go-to thing. He can't, it's compulsive. He can't even help it. He's I'm just going to spin a story.
And how disgusting is it that he's just doing that to try to win over African-American voters? And,
yeah, what the fuck, dude?
They're...
Well, and they're trying to say that black people won't vote for Bernie. Meanwhile, you showed me that Bernie Bra video.
Yeah.
Where it was a bunch of black people all throughout the country I'm voting for Bernie Sanders because of this, and talking about how he worked with MLK and all this shit. Did you manage to find that, Johnny?
Yeah, I did.
Here, start playing it. You can put it up to your microphone.
All right.
So wait, before what was this again?
So this guy, he's always on MSNBC. Hold on, I think his name might be right here.
I can't remember.
I can't remember.
It doesn't matter. Anyway.
But dude, he's normal, and I wouldn't say he's pure establishment piece of shit, but
he's a normal guy.
Normal analyst who comes on, spouts bullshit.
Yeah.
But dude,
and
I would not be shocked if he's never allowed.
And he calls shit out about MSNBC because we know that they've been fucking brutal.
And props to Status Coup. Status Coup.
Status Coup, shout out.
Coup is in a government coup.
Yeah. I love that channel name. I wish our channel name was that cool. Our channel name's all right, but Status Coup.
I feel our name for Facebook especially sucks people in because it's just a good.
Yeah, I like our name.
A millennial sees it and it's entitlement.
But Status Coup is such a good name.
Yeah,
dude.
I like it. But here, let me.
All right, go ahead and play that for everybody.
Oh crap!
What? Hold on. You got your headphones buckled in here?
Dude, it's so annoying. There's something wrong with it, unfortunately.
You need those?
Yeah.
Whatever. Sorry about the technological problems, everybody.
Yeah, this is a major failure right
It's fine, dude. It's all right. Skip ahead a minute or so. You'll find us where we're at.
There we go. Should be off now. Or not.
Yeah. You got it?
Who are willing to say the truth and who are willing to speak.
Put it a little closer, Johnny.
Cost them opportunity. So this, and I don't want to mispronounce, but I probably will. This is Anand.
It starts shortly.
Gurud Haridas.
Yeah, it's fine.
And he is
Gurud Haridas
at large, also an author. So he was on with the Joy
Anand Guraldas or something is this guy's name.
Posting this clip, he said, "This
is
a
nice
wake-up
name.
moment for the American
He's got really nice hair too.
Does he? Oh yeah, dude. That's what I was thinking the whole time. I'm supposed to be listening to this political shit. I'm like, this hair is on point, bro.
A dying regime, including in media.
Oh fuck.
It's time for many to.
You got it.
Okay, here we go.
This is in America.
All right.
I just thought
So let's listen to it.
Let's play the goddamn clip, damn it.
Last night was a historic win that I think a lot of us are still struggling to understand. It's not historic.
Speaking about Nevada,
Bernie Sanders is now decisively proving that he can win in milk white America and in the emerging superpower of color that we are becoming. Something is happening in America right now that actually does not fit our mental models. It certainly doesn't fit the mental models of a lot of people on TV. It doesn't fit the mental models of a lot of people in the parties. It doesn't fit our cultural mental models. You have someone talking about, in a way we have not heard, genuine, deeper democracy, popular movements, human equality in a meaningful way, and a politics of love in the tradition of Dr. King, and winning elections in America, the United States of America. And I just have to say, and I've been encouraged watching you on air talk about your own rethinking of things, which I think we all have to do to be in this work. I think this is a wake-up moment for the American power establishment. From Michael Bloomberg to those of us in the media, to the Democratic Party, to donors, to CEOs, many in this establishment are behaving, in my view, as they face the prospect of a Bernie Sanders nomination, like out-of-touch aristocrats in a dying aristocracy. Just sort of, how do we stop this? How do we block this? And there is no curiosity. Why is this happening? What is going on in the lives of my fellow citizens in this country that they may be voting for something that I find it so hard to understand? What is happening? What is happening? This is a moment for curiosity in America. I think about this network, which I love, which you love, and I think we have to look within also. Why is a lobbyist for Uber and Mark Zuckerberg on the air many nights explaining a political revolution to us? Why is Chris Matthews on this air talking about the victory of Bernie Sanders, who had kin murdered in the Holocaust, and analogizing it to the Nazi conquest of France? The people who are stuck in an old way of thinking, in 20th century frameworks, in gulag thinking, are missing what is going on. It is time for all of us to step up, rethink, and understand the dawn of what may be, frankly, a new era in American life.
I just want to...
Yeah, that's great, man.
Yeah, I thought that was good.
I mean, what he all just said,
and he calls out MSNBC for bringing on lobbyists to tell us what's going on with our politics.
Yeah, what he said about a dying oligarchy that's trying to, like, stop
aristocracy.
Well, whatever, yeah, aristocracy. The media corruption, these people trying to... this is all the stuff that we talk about so often, but he just did it in such
He's a very smart guy. Like,
very concise and poignant way on national media. And people saw it.
Yep.
And people saw it and were like, that were kind of maybe drinking the Kool-Aid. They're about to drink it. They're like, and then they heard that and they were like...
Or they're just like, fuck him.
Yeah, well, that happened a lot too, but still... And, I think that kind of, he talks about the win in Nevada and everything, and I think that's maybe a good segue into this next thing. He won Iowa. He won New Hampshire. He fucking murdered Nevada. Like, that's like a nuclear wasteland now after that fucking primary, you know what I'm saying?
It is.
Well, yeah, but true, actually, straight up. But, he just decimated. Latino voters came out in droves. Like, that was such an upset. And, what are your thoughts? Like, South Carolina's coming up?
All right, so I watched that Rising with Crystal Ball and Sager. I can't pronounce his
I know who you're talking about.
Because he's great.
Yeah.
He's a right-winger, but he's great.
I know who you're talking about.
For a right-winger, he is what conservatism
I just had a conversation with Granny Sweet. Shout out Granny Sweet. I had just had a conversation with you about... No. Sorry, Granny Sweet, shout out still, because we had a good conversation today. But this was actually... what was her name?
I know who you're talking about, though. I read the comment.
It's like, I can't remember your name. I'm sorry, your handle, but you know who you are. Sorry. But thank you, because and I went and looked at some of his stuff, so I do know who you're talking about. And yeah, you're right.
But so they've been bringing this guy on. He's a Bernie campaign. He's like in charge of the Latino outreach. His name is Chuck something, I think. He's been saying for months how they're building this Latino coalition to get Bernie the big win in Nevada. And he came on afterwards and said the same thing's going on in South Carolina.
And he's like, I told you.
No, what but he's not like that. But it's like knowing that he was right about everything he's been saying for months.
Yeah.
Like, I thought he was
being hopeful,
but also being hopeful.
Yeah.
But showing that he was spot on about what he's saying gives me high hopes in South Carolina.
Yeah, and because they're doing the same thing with the black vote there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, that video that Bernie Sanders did with the Bernie Bros.
That wasn't even him. That
wasn't official.
That was Benjamin Dixon.
Okay, but still, yeah, dude, things are happening in this country, and like you said, what happened in Nevada and then that guy's words gives us a lot of hope that this could happen in South Carolina. But going into Super Tuesday, what states are voting again?
The Minnesota, main ones. I believe Colorado, I believe Texas, California. Dude, it's like 14 states.
Yeah, it's a lot.
No, it's 16, I think. I could be wrong on this. I think it's 16 states, and betting odds show Sanders winning 14 of them.
I saw that. 14, though?
It's either 14 states total betting odds or 12 out of the 14 for Sanders, or it's 16 total betting odds or 14 out of 16. Yeah,
because I think I saw that, and the number that I remember was just that 2 were out. But which may be Texas, but although you've talked about...
He's leading in the Texas poll.
That's the thing. So, you said California, right?
He's even leading in a Texas poll against Trump.
Yeah.
Which
is
I don't
wild.
believe.
I mean...
What do you think is more likely? I think... I don't see Texas voting for Bernie, but I almost feel like that's more likely than Florida.
Yeah.
I don't think either are going to... Like they act like these. Another thing about the Cuban comments, they're acting like these Cuban comments just lost Bernie Florida.
Yeah.
First off, the odds of the Democrats going to win Florida seems pretty fucking slim to me, anyways.
Sure.
And it seems like a lot of these Cubans vote for Republican. They're why Marco Rubio is in.
Like, well, yeah, I don't
know.
A lot of the Cubans that fled Cuba during the revolution were
right?
Yeah, were landowners and stuff that had their shit seized by the communist regime.
Yep.
Or people that were afraid and that were political dissidents, and it's still devastating that those people had to flee their country. Like, I'm not gonna downplay them, but it's not indicative of like the general consensus of Cubans in that country and how they felt about the revolution.
Yeah.
If they were against the revolution, most of them, it's highly unlikely that Fidel and Che would have been victorious fighting from the fucking mountains the way that they did.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So yeah, a lot. So the way that what you've read and the way that you've looked into it, it seems like Bernie's going to really tear up Super Tuesday.
Yep, and honestly, I'm expecting a loss in South Carolina. If we even come within 8%, I think that's a solid victory really for us. If we win,
still a lot of delegates.
If we win South Carolina, a couple other I've heard people say this. I'm going to say it too. I think it's over. Bernie is winning the nomination, unless they flat out steal from him.
Yeah, of course, but that's always the.
If it just shows he's going to win everywhere if he wins South Carolina,
Yeah, so definitely I think he's definitely going to take a big haul and okay, when I say this stuff, in lieu of fuckery.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Let's just say
that's
here.
the problem.
California, I think he's going to tear it up.
He's got a 13%
Colorado,
lead or
going to tear it up.
13 or 17% lead in California.
Yeah. So those two states going to tear it up. What do you think about Minnesota considering Klobuchar?
Tied with Klobuchar in the polling I saw, which honestly I think he's going to win Minnesota.
You think so?
Yeah.
Based on how many people came from Minnesota,
beating Warren in Massachusetts in polling.
Ooh, sorry.
And
Warren.
I mean, maybe not every poll, just some polls I saw. And I don't really trust polls anyway.
It'll still be probably a close one. Yeah, I'm feeling confident, man. I think he's gonna take the long haul on this shit, man. And yeah,
it just sucks that there's gonna be fuckery.
I'm so amped. I wish we could do a live podcast, but I just don't. It just doesn't work because of our work schedule. That'd be so fun, during some of these elections.
I may go to a rally actually on Monday in Minnesota.
Oh, yeah?
I have to check if I work or not. But
try to pan that out. I'd like to go and do that too, but there's only so little amount of time to get everything done. And
it'd be pretty cool, especially if he wins South Carolina on Saturday. It'd be a major rally because it's
yes. His victory ones are just ooh, yeah, man. One more thing. I think we're getting probably pretty close to an hour here. Going back to Bloomberg for a second. How about this? Obviously, we've talked about all the money he's dumped into this and how it's just gone south, especially on the debate stage. He came out swinging a little bit with this last one with all the smears. They stuck a little bit more than some of the other ones have, I thought. But how about
I honestly had to turn the debate off.
Did you?
Yeah, a little over an hour and I shut it off, dude. It's fucking ridiculous.
Cringy.
Dude, first off, the moderators are fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Did not stop them from talking.
Over each other.
Whereas the other ones usually stop them too fast. So it's now they just let them have a free-for-all, so it's just them yelling over each other half the time.
It's a fucking big gangbang.
Yeah. And then afterwards, they bring on they bring on someone to analyze Bloomberg's performance, right?
Okay.
And who is it? A fucking Bloomberg staffer.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be an honest analyzation of Bloomberg's performance.
Well, yeah, and how about the whole to get seats at that event?
Oh yeah, and then Bernie or Warren, it was only Bernie or Warren, really, the boos came from. Bernie would make this fiery point against Bloomberg. Boo! Like, loudest boos ever.
Yeah.
Like, top of the
clearly
boos.
Staged, clearly packed
Warren made
room.
great points, loud boos. It's
Yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah, this is real.
Yeah.
Yeah, we believe this. Yeah,
They did that to Trump in the Republican debates.
I know, dude. The tickets were $1,800 to $3,200.
See, I read some were $700, but still.
Well, what,
No average person
I mean,
is spending $700.
Fuck no, dude.
And then to go boo Bernie.
That's a month's rent for a lot of people, bro.
So first off, Bloomberg probably paid for those tickets, right?
Roman's like, yeah.
And how much money did he give them to boo that loud? Because an average person, even if you're booing, you're just like, boo.
Boo.
Because
Yeah.
it feels kind of weird to like chant and shit. At
Yeah,
least for a lot
it
of
was like
people.
staged hardcore.
Dude, it was like passionate boos. Like, you know, those fake people we see chanting outside of like the Wingding for hours,
Spinning sand.
sweating your ass off. Yeah, that's
Biden,
real.
yeah.
I tell you, I love Bernie Sanders. You will not find me in the hot ass heat holding a sign and chanting for hours into a megaphone and shit.
Yeah,
It's not.
You'll see me. You'll catch me giving a speech, but then I'm gonna go into
go knock
fucking air
doors.
conditioning. Yeah,
Like-
I'm gonna do actual work.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit there. Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
Just imagine Bloomberg like in that crowd. Obviously, it's already kind of packed because of the ticket price, and then imagine he's just going around and slipping fucking checks for like $3,000.
Probably more than that.
Yeah, here's the thing:
He could literally pay $20,000 to people.
more.
It's nothing.
More. He could pay $100,000 to every single person in that room on a check signed fucking Michael Bloomberg at the bottom.
Yep.
And he's not gonna notice that money.
No.
It's nothing, dude. So you could just be like, here's 100 G's, make sure you boo loud.
Yeah.
And what would you take that check?
No.
I would take the check.
I would take the check, but I just couldn't do it against Bernie.
Exactly. I would
This
take
is the
that.
moment.
I'd be like, sure, Bloomberg. And then be like when Bernie's like, yeah.
That is one funny other thing to
Just
talk
start
about
going
what's
hard.
going on with Bloomberg.
Meanwhile, I got that 100K.
So he's hiring a bunch of people to like call people and message people.
Yeah.
And Bernie supporters are getting the jobs and then just like talking shit about Bloomberg.
The ultimate trolling job, dude. You know what? Thank God for those fucking keyboard warriors out there right now. You guys are doing
He
God's
obviously
work.
isn't looking into people very well before he hires them to do his shit.
Well, yeah.
And when he had prison labor making calls at the beginning, I think he put a stop to that.
Yeah, just imagine some like thug ass like Aryan like Brotherhood guy. Hey, motherfucker, I'm in San Quentin calling for Bloomberg. You gonna vote for him or what? You better fucking vote for him.
I talked to an Amy Klobuchar staffer, and she knows Bloomberg staffers,
Sure.
like people working for Bloomberg. He's
Yeah.
paying like more than double what
the other
organizers
campaigns are.
usually are making.
God, dude, we should try to get one of those gigs and just completely flush it down the toilet.
Nah, I
Get
feel
that paper?
fucking disgusted.
What? Get that paper and then
Yeah,
go and
but
like
I'm sure you sign
purposely
something that you don't
sabotage.
even get the money or something. It'd just be a waste of time.
I think
don't
we
have
could
it in
make
me.
it work.
You should do it then.
I gotta find the time. You're
I
right.
would laugh if I mean, it would be funny, but yeah, it's just too much. I don't have it.
Just
in me.
literally like right when you leave the Bloomberg office, you take off your Bloomberg gear and put on Bernie gear and start knocking doors. And you're just literally canvassing
for Bernie.
canvassing for
that'd be
Bernie
hilarious.
the whole time. That's what I was picturing doing. Meanwhile, you're getting paid $300 an hour or some shit.
Yeah.
Just stack. And then you're going extra deep, and then you just donate all the money to the Bernie campaign too. Just a double fucking
that'd be
whammy.
really deep. And another thing I want to say about Bloomberg and his bullshit, if you went to the LA Times website, the whole website, all the ad banners were Bloomberg, and the way it was set up, it almost looked like it was part of the site. So the top is this light Bloomberg ad, and then the side ads are like the same style thing, and so it looks like the site's almost Bloomberg.
Yeah, that's.
I have a theory, though, that this is all going to backfire like it did with Tom Steyer. Because you know what people know of Tom Steyer? That he has those annoying fucking political ads.
Hello, I'm Tom Steyer.
That's how people know
fucking
him.
goddamn it.
And I feel like it's going to be the same with Bloomberg. They're going to be like, oh, another fucking Bloomberg ad. And it pisses
too
people
much.
off.
It's too much, and they're always garbage ass ads. Meanwhile, if you get a
With no
Bernie
meaning.
one, it's him talking at the camera. He's like, "I want to talk to you about what's
Or
going
it's some
on."
epic fiery shit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And you're actually like, okay,
Yeah.
you know, even if you don't like Bernie, you're at
But
least
still,
like
even if
intrigued
Bernie
by.
ran ads that much to the point,
Yeah,
it's constant, you're going to
shut
piss
you down.
people off.
It's fucking oversaturation. It's going to destroy people's perception of you.
Yep.
They're just going to be like, dude, fuck this guy. Just like that guy that's always at work, like, hey man, and it's like every fucking, just any chance he gets, he tries to talk to you. It's like that. And dude, the whole Steyer thing, like we said before, when he was on the debate stage when Warren and Bernie were getting into it,
and he just like is looking at it. Yeah,
that's like how his ads feel.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm running for president. I don't know if you heard. So,
I hate his fucking ads.
Anyway, guys, I think we're about to hit an hour here, and one more thing actually, I want to talk about this because this was another one of our things on the Entitled Millennials page that took off was that company Bob's Red Mill.
Oh yeah.
Does all the health food and the like good grains, and they do it all through like an old-fashioned method. I've always really appreciated that company because they have done profit share, and it's just. I saw this thing recently. He's getting old now. He's about 85, and he essentially handed over like complete control, complete ownership of the company to his workers, where they have it where they get like huge amounts of stock share. Because it's not publicly traded. So if you work there and you've been there for 3 years or more, you get like a certain amount of the company. And I think that's important because I'm not a communist, and we could talk about like in the distant future, like how would civilization work and maybe, blah, 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 right? Star Trek-esque shit.
Yeah.
But speaking about the here and now, I think the key to moving into the future is a fusion of the ideas of socialism and capitalism. Because you know what?
Yeah, that's what I've been saying for a long time.
And that's what
we already kind of have in ways.
Yeah, in a negative way to a certain degree, right?
Some other good ways though too. Like
yeah, but we should be going farther, right? In ways that benefit the working class.
Yeah.
And like, look, no one can sit here. And obviously, free market capitalism has some failures. It's almost impossible for it to tackle things like poverty or things like climate change. It's just because of the nature of the way that the system works, it's impossible for it to take on these deep of issues, right? It's just the structure isn't there.
Yeah.
But no one can sit here and argue with me that free market capitalism has not done crazy things for wealth building and technology and innovation. Like it's just there because competition, one guy tries to outdo the other, and obviously government has played a huge role in that as well.
Yeah.
But the excesses of capitalism and its crystallization to like a corporate system is incredibly dangerous, right? But with this thing that Bob's Mill did, we can sort of see how we can fuse the two ideas of socialism, meaning democratic control of business.
The thing about him, though, is he actually gave a fuck about his employees. A lot of them don't give a fuck.
Exactly. But if we could imagine a world where we see more of this sort of thing happening, like even if we had to do it through legislation and shit, because they have systems like this in Europe. What if we have even big companies like Apple or Target or Walmart, where 50% is owned by the big money capitalists who put money into it. The other 50% has to be owned by workers.
That's what Bernie's goal is, to get 20% of boards filled with the workers.
Yeah, yeah. And just like...
And all these rich people are like, oh, that'd be the end of the... It's like...
Yeah. Meanwhile, it's like, dude...
Still on 80%. We should be going farther, fuck faces.
Yeah, dude.
God damn.
We are stakeholders in these corporations.
Well, and I just want to say is like, the more they try to stop us getting a little bit,
the more
radical they're making people.
Yeah.
And it's not good because you're making some people radical to the point that their views really are off the deep end and could fuck shit up.
Yeah.
I don't know,
we're just asking for the bone, but if you keep trying to fuck us and tease us with the bone,
like John
we're going to take the whole fucking cow.
Those who make peaceful revolution impossible make violent revolution inevitable. And I don't say that like happily.
I know.
It's just a fact. You can sense it building up.
Yep. And you know what, Johnny? I think that is a good place to end this podcast. So, anyway, guys, it's been nice hanging out with you. Obviously, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, like it, hit the bell so you can know every time an episode drops. I'll be trying to get this out to you guys at 10 a.m. tomorrow. To support the podcast, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/double_D. There you can access all my written work, including poetry, flash fiction, full-length short stories. All of it's stuff about working class, addiction, struggles, things like that. I think those of you who listen to our show will really appreciate some of it. Go and check it out anyway, even if you don't want to pay into it. There's a lot of free stuff on there I think you guys would enjoy. To further support the podcast, check out our sponsor, Bingley's Teas at janeaustenteas.com. There you can find high-end teas handpicked and mixed by the lovely Miss Julia. Or visit Julia in person at 118 East 26th Street, suite number 208, to be taken on a tea tour of the world and to satisfy that deep tea addiction. All right, guys, nice hanging out with you. We'll see you next week. Bye.